Hello everyone, it's Julian from BD Cosmos, and we're back to do the second part of our top 10 books to subscribe to. So we've already done a first 5 series of independent titles, and we're looking at 5 of the superhero type books that are available over at DC and Marvel. So just as always, we're going to look at Managed Comics 2.0 over at bdcosmos.com for books you can subscribe to and subscribe through BD Cosmos. Now, of course, if you're not local to us or you're not within Canada and you have your own LCS, feel free to let them know about these series that you want to subscribe to. In the end, more people who read comic books, we're all going to be happier in the end. So we're going to look at 5 titles, either at DC and Marvel, and we're going to look at the obligatory trade paperback that I recommend picking up this month. Just as I mentioned in the last video, I've been sick for the last couple of weeks, so it's entirely possible that I'll be coughing. I'm really sorry about that. I'm going to try to limit it as much as possible. In any event, let's look at the very first Marvel or DC title this month. It's a Marvel one, actually. It's called the X-Terminators. This is a 5-part miniseries about the girls going out, about the X-Girls. So we've got Dazzler, Jubilee, and X-23 is that is. Oh, there's Boom Boom as well. I actually like Boom Boom, but I was a huge fan of Next Wave. Sorry. X-23 is... Oh, I feel bad about this. Anyways, so this is the next Leah Williams series. So she's done the X Factor and then Trial of Magneto. And so this is as they mentioned, a grindhouse type title in which Dazzler gets picked up or kidnapped, and the other girls are trying to fight to get her. So it'll be a high-octane series. It'll be a fun series to read from Leah. Honestly, I highly recommend it. If you're an X fan, it seems like a really easy book to pick up. And if you're any fan of any of the other characters, much like myself, who's a fan of Boom Boom, yeah, go ahead. It'd be an easy read to pick up, and not necessarily need to know everything else around the Krakoan agent. Honestly, it'll be just a separate thing on its own. Okay. This is Mike Allred's Superman Space Age, in which we're looking at Clark Kent, who's finally coming out during, as he knows the end of the Earth that he's on is about to happen, hence the Crisis on Infinite Earths. And you're going to see Superman through the decades evolve, and what he will deal with every separate decade on Earth. The Mike Allred art is very particular. So if you've read the Dan Slott's Silver Surfer series, which is a Eisner Award-winning series, or the Peter Milligan and him series from Ecstatic, the art is very particular, but it works well with the thematic that you're looking at. I would liken this much to both the Spider-Man and Fantastic Four life stories, which every issue you'll see a different decade. The page count is huge at 80 pages per book, so that's a $10 USD title for to pick up. But you will get some really fantastic art from Mike Allred. I should have brought some up because I know there's a bunch of art pages already available. But this is also a strict miniseries of 6 issues. Oh, wow, 3 issues. Okay, so that's why it's double the page count. They're doing it over... I wouldn't be surprised if it's every 2 months in that case, and not every single month for 3 issues. But it is the total amount of issues anyways. So that you would see, I think both Fantastic Four and Spider-Man Life Story were 6 issues, so every decade from the 60s over to 2020s. And that's something that we'll see both in this title, but over the course of 3 issues only. So again, it has multiple variants, but I would just pick up the main cover. Honestly, it goes well with the series itself. And so Superman the Space Age, it's rare that I'll recommend some Superman stuff, but the concept was really interesting. The art was really interesting. Honestly, I'm full force on this book and trying to promote it. Next up, this is a book that's been delayed about a year now. It's Ed Brisson's Predator. So this was supposed to come out December, or it was supposed to come out in 2021, and a few months after the Alien series picked up, and then there's a falling through with between the old rights holder from the original Predator script, and Disney, obviously, who now owns the Predator license from 20th Century Fox. And so the omnibus reprint from the Dark Horse stuff, and obviously all the Predator covers they had solicited, and the first issue of the new ongoing Predator series got delayed. So I believe this has been on pending for a year now, possibly more. But it's finally coming out. So Predator #1 is coming out in July of 2022. My expectation is actually going to release in August of 2022. But we'll see in the end. So if you're an Alien fan and would like to see Predator, and there's more than likely going to be an Alien vs. Predator book down the line, this is the fantastic time to pick up a brand new ongoing series from Marvel. Judgment Day, Avengers, X-Men, and Eternals. It is the summer event from Marvel for 2022. So last month we talked about Dark Crisis. This month we're talking about Judgment Day. This is not so much a rehash of Avengers versus X-Men from, oh my, it's been 10 years now already, from Jason Aaron. So this is Kieran Gillen's series, who's writing both Immortal X-Men and Eternals. And the synopsis is really simple, where now the mutants are basically speaking for the our solar system towards all alien species, and the Eternals. The main goals of the Eternals have always been to remove the deviants in influence on humanity, and so to them, the greatest deviant threat is now mutants, which kind of makes sense, actually, because they are a deviant of the original Homo sapien genome, and they're Homo superior. It's just, it's odd that it took Marvel this long to put them both together. And so the Eternals now, who are just hell-bent on destroying all mutants, and the mutants also have a giant secret about, eternal life. And so all of this goes against the programming of the Eternals, and the Avengers are caught in the middle of all of this, mostly because they have to defend both their friends, the X-Men, and the Eternals. So it's a giant mishmash event. Kieran Gillen, as I mentioned, writes Immortal X-Men and the Eternals right now, and then we've got Jason Aaron's writing the Avengers, and so they're going to be working together to craft this story. I am not a huge fan of the Eternals myself, and I'm not an X reader either, but I am a huge Avengers fan. And the last time Jason Aaron had the AVX event, it actually panned out way better than people expected to be, even though today it is completely ridiculous. The original event was the Avengers trying to prevent the Phoenix to come back, and now the Phoenix is part of the Avengers. So now that they're defending the X-Men against the Eternals, it seems really interesting. Obviously, the Mark Brooks cover is fantastic. He's been doing covers for a ton of books recently. Every time Mark Brooks has been doing cover, I've been ordering significant amount and been selling really well. So AXE Judgment Day is the 6-part miniseries for the summer. If you enjoyed Devil's Reign, then again, that was Chip Zdarsky. If you enjoyed that kind of Marvel event, this is the next one to be picking up. Should you be picking up everything that goes around it? That depends on you. Definitely the Eternals and the Immortal X-Men books will be direct tie-ins because they're both written by Kieran Gillen. And then the Jerry Dugan X-Men series will also be tied in. And then Jason Aaron's Avengers will also be tied in. There will be multiple other miniseries as well. There will be at least, there's Death to Mutants, if I'm not mistaken, a miniseries also written by Kieran Gillen. That one probably, much like Chip Zdarsky's Devil's Reign, there was A Woman Without Fear, which was both written by him, and so that was the more key of the books. So probably Death to Mutants will be interesting to pick up if you want to read as much as possible. But just taking the main series, and there's a prelude that is launching the month before. We'll be having it in store if you're missing out. But instead of having an alpha and omega, they have a prelude issue for Judgment Day. And so if you're interested in giant Marvel events, this is the next one to pick up. Finally, we're going to talk about Batman 125. And it's not a new series, but is a new jumping on point. So while we're dealing with Dark Crisis, Chip Zdarsky is now writing Batman. So as he mentioned, Frank Miller has got nothing on that, writing both Daredevil and Batman at the very same time. And that's what Chip Zdarsky is going to be doing with Jorge Jimenez, I'm sorry, writing the new the ongoing series. So Chip is taking over, and he's taking the Batman to a very dark level. And so something that has been done in my lord, even before Tom King, so back into New 52 era. So Tom King was more of a not so much a love story, because it certainly dealt with lots of Catwoman stuff, as we know in his current Batman Catwoman miniseries that's about to end finally. But we're going to have elements of Tim Drake as the Robin returning here. And so it'll be a dark brooding series. It'll be incredibly violent from what he says. He's also, we don't know if he's working with Tini Howard, but he's certainly spoken with Tini Howard, what she's doing over at Catwoman. So there's no overlap or no issues. But definitely Chip Zdarsky is a writer that I think I read every single one of his ongoing miniseries right now. And so a huge fan of the Canadian writer. If it's not Newburn or what is the editor? Well, he's got Public Domain coming out soon. Anyways, there's a lot of stuff from Chip Zdarsky. Well, I mean, obviously Daredevil. Daredevil's fantastic. Devil's Reign was great. So there's a lot of stuff that Chip Zdarsky has just been writing. It just hooks you in, and it to me it is just like we mentioned a couple of months ago, actually 6 months ago, about the Batman 118, where William Johnson was taking over. It was kind of important for this Shadow War, so he could lead into Dark Crisis. So now he's done, and it is Chip Zdarsky's writing this. So again, people keep asking me, when can I pick up Batman so I don't need to read everything else? Batman 125 will be the book to pick up. And we'll be ordering in consequence. Obviously, there is a plethora of incentive covers and regular cover. I think there's like 6 regular covers. So this is the main from Jorge, and then the Jim Lee cover, the New York Lee cover, the Lotto cover. The Simone Di Matteo is an acetate cover. So the Batman that you see here, that is going to be an acetate over the Gotham City. We're ordering a lot of this one because we're really cool. The Mattina cover, which is Catwoman, which is, again, we don't know. We just know that Chip has spoken with Tinny. We don't know if she's going to be involved, Catwoman in particular. And then there's the 125, black and white, Jock Foyle, Alice Garner. So far, we're not ordering 125 issues, but if someone who needs the Alice Garner, please feel free to let us know. Chip's doing is a 1/250. Which is very likened to The Batman, the movie itself. And then there's a 1/500 Jim Lee black and white cover of this one. So there's no real need to pick up this when you can just pick up the color one. Obviously, this one will be Virgin versus this one not being Virgin. This will be cardstock. Honestly, it's going to be not cheap at $5.99 USD. So that's 750 CAD, I believe, or 875 CAD. 48 pages though. But it definitely... This is the pre-order issue. Hell, look at that. I have pre-ordered. It's in my account now. And then I'll be able to pick up Batman starting 125. Well, that was our 5 series we recommend picking up in July of 2022. Please subscribe to them ASAP so that we can make sure that are able to order them in consequence. We have a tendency of not over-ordering on certain titles, but almost all of these titles in particular that we feel recommending, these will be books you'll be able to pick up near release date. So don't worry too much, especially Batman 125. For our obligatory trade paperback this month, it is Charles Soule's She-Hulk, which I didn't know he wrote She-Hulk at one point. 2014, I was kind of out of it. I wasn't really looking into comic books. I was still collecting my Deadpool and my Spider-Mans, but I wasn't looking to read more stuff beyond that, as I was just collecting. I was focused on more other things at that time. But Charles Soule wrote She-Hulk in fashion as a actual lawyer because he has a law degree himself, and so this is it. I don't know if it's going to be a comedic element, because then again, it's She-Hulk. He tends to have a comedic element, but it'll be very focused on their law degree and different court cases. And there's a court case against Matt Murdock. So all these people that she's going to be defending in court is a synopsis of the book itself. It seems this has been printed before. I was not aware, and I've never heard of it before. And so yeah, this was a surprise book from Marvel that they add at the end of the Marvel previews to pre-order. So yeah, absolutely, I'm going to be ordering a bunch of these. Obviously, the more you guys pile on, the more I add. So make sure that you guys have a copy if you're a fan of She-Hulk. Now, Robin Wall is the one who's running right now, and that's been a fantastic series. But if you're interested in reading more of recent She-Hulk, this would be the series to pick up. So that's it from us. Those were top 10 books to subscribe to. We looked at 5 Marvel DC and 5 independent titles. Which book do you think we missed out? Because there were certainly lots of independent titles and Marvel DC titles that we had to cut to get to the 10 videos. But if there's something else that you feel we should have mentioned, feel free to let us know down below. And obviously, share and like this video to other friends if they're looking to pick up books in July of 2022. As always, we'll see each other real soon for more videos from BD Cosmos. Otherwise, have yourself a wonderful evening, and we'll speak to you real soon.